Hang on. G'day everybody, my name's Lukey and I'm a Streamaholic.
Hi Lukey. Hello everybody, my name is Shippy and I'm a Streamaholic.
Hi Shippy.
There's no sound. We're muted somehow. How are we muted?
No, we're okay now.
Okay.
G'day everybody. What amateurs? Actually, that's all on me. Sorry about that, guys.
Oh no, what a start. What a start to this really serious topic, but that's okay. That's okay.
So that was all planned. We just decided to get the light-hearted stuff out of the way first.
Yeah.
How is everybody doing? Shippy, how are you going?
Yeah, good man. Good. How are you doing today?
Yeah, pretty good. I'm glad that the week of work's finished. It's kind of it's good that we do it on a Friday night, I think, just for that point. The work week's finished.
Yeah.
And then, into the stream. So, into the podcast. Very excited about tonight.
Yeah, and you can all. It's Friday, so it's okay. We're allowed to have a drink or two.
I've got we're brothers tonight. We're the ginger beer brothers.
Same. But yeah, it is definitely the weekend. So let's get around the weekend. I apparently have a message. 2 seconds. This should be right, shouldn't it? You can hear my voice as normal, right? Correctly?
Yes.
Everyone else, can you hear anything weird about my voice, or? Because I'm hearing that my voice may sound strange from the other side, which is weird because literally changed nothing.
It might just be shitty Discord playing up, like just making it sound not as flash as usual.
Let me just test.
The first one is incorrect, and not everything this sounds really horrible.
But then this one should be my normal voice. As far as I can tell, that is the normal voice that I use. So, okay.
So
good.
many
Sounds
voices.
Good. All right, excellent.
That's
like
right.
you're in a room without padding. What the heck? Weird.
Yeah, I think that's probably just the feed that's coming through to my end from Discord, unfortunately.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's all right. I'll just adjust mine next time so it sounds like I'm coming from a little tin shed as well, and we're all good.
Yeah, I think we're all good now. I think we're all set.
All right, cool. I think take it away, Chippy. I reckon if you want to just dive into the first point, we've had a huge response from you guys, which is really, really good. Looking forward to diving into some of those topics and getting around it. So I'll hand it over to you, Chippy, if you want to get things off.
No worries, absolutely. So at the end of last Streamaholics, I did mention that today's stream would have a bit of a heavy topic because it was going to really talk about things like mental health with streaming as well as burnout. So burnout experience where you might step away from streaming, or even something so simple as friend X is doing so much better than me. How do I deal with that? And on top of that, things as well like, man, I really want to hit affiliate, or man, I really want to hit partner, and it seems like I'm doing all the right things, but nothing seems to be getting me there. What's wrong with me? Am I doing something wrong? I think they're all really, really interesting topics that I think everybody can relate to, especially people who are doing the streams, and a little bit of a reiteration of the it's okay to just play as well. And I think there's a lot of stuff that we can actually talk about here that affects us on a daily basis. So there are so many people who are currently going through all of these trials and tribulations, whether it's because it's your daily job, like it is myself, or if it's a hobby. There are plenty of people who do it just as a hobby, and being able to kind of look at yourself and realize that you're not doing anything wrong, even though it can definitely feel like it. And that's not to say that you shouldn't grind, and that's not to say that you shouldn't be making an effort to do what you can to improve and all of that kind of stuff. It's just saying you need to be a little bit easier on yourself. So that's kind of the topics that I personally wanted to cover. And then outside of that, I want to be able to talk to the community here, like the people here at Goa, and kind of figure out, we've got a few questions from the community members too, and just kind of cover over bases. But hopefully, we do cover most of it today. If we don't, we're more than happy to do another one of these. because we do think it's a really important topic. Mental health since the pandemic has absolutely skyrocketed or plummeted, depending on your perspective. For a lot of my friends, intense depression has come as a part of this lockdown, and then they throw themselves into streaming because they see someone like myself who thankfully we're doing pretty well, but they see someone like myself and then they say, well, why not me? And then they get horrible thoughts in their heads, and it's really, really hard for them to keep going. And then they retire, they quit what they're doing here, or they move into something different completely. And there is literally nothing that they're doing wrong. It's measuring yourself off of someone else's stick isn't how you should measure yourself in any case. So I feel like those conversations are probably really, really interesting. And I do hope you guys enjoy it as well. The very first thing I think we should probably cover, though, is Burnout, because Lukey, you've got some experience with this yourself. Could you tell us your experience?
My experience with Burnout, it probably comes in two different forms for me. First off, game Burnout was the first sort of Burnout that I went through. I was streaming for about probably 12 months on Facebook Gaming. It hit a bit of a purple patch playing Destiny and just grinded Destiny for about 3 or 4 months, and it was the first time I'd ever picked up the game, so I had a lot of viewers at that point coming in, especially because I was playing a game and they were all helping me out. That it was really, really good, but I got burnt out playing the same game all the time, and then tried to switch things up with different games, and then the viewers don't return because they're all there for the Destiny content, and then that starts playing with your head, right? So just as an off the sider for that for me was it starts playing with your head, like, oh, so they were here for the game, not for me. And then so it started to really get to me mentally at that point. And that was probably, I think probably leads into the next one. That was probably when I decided, well, if nobody's going to watch me play other games and I want to be variety, or I like the idea of this mixer platform, now's probably the time. Then I'll jump over to Mixer and I'll just build up to where I was before. And then it just steamrolled into other different things. But Burnout for me for the game, Mixer of course closed down 6 or 7 months after I joined Mixer. So the progress that I was already making on Mixer went out the window. And then I found myself toiling, like trying to go back to Facebook Gaming, but there was just no one there for me anymore because I'd been gone for so long. And then deciding that I was going to try out on Twitch again, or for the first time really on Twitch, and even in just the first few streams, no viewers, and I'm just like, I'm starting again for the third time, or second time starting over fresh on a new platform, and it just all was very, very heavy for me at that point. So but yeah, it started from Burnout from a game really, and looking back on it, I think I probably could have kept playing the game, but it wasn't right for me to just keep playing it. Like, I enjoyed the game, but I didn't enjoy it as much as my viewers enjoyed the game, to put it that way.
Yeah. So what would you say your defining factor would be then, I guess? Like, what would be the reason that you felt the need to step away? Would it have been the fact that you weren't playing games that you were enjoying anymore? Or was it the fact that you weren't getting the viewership that you thought you should get?
No,
or was it a combination of both?
So for me, it was, I was playing the Destiny. I was getting a lot of viewers. At that point, it was probably my most successful streaming period. I was getting anywhere between 50 to 80 concurrent viewers throughout the entire streams for a few months in a row. And then I thought, and I was doing the character stream at the time as Radman, and so I was trying to make it about the entertainment, which it was. And all of my streams have always been about entertainment. To be honest, I've always struggled with, I've always struggled, and it's been a really learning process for me to try and work out how to cultivate the community side of things off the side of the stream. But when I was on stream, that was all entertainment for me. That was what it was all about. And so for me, it was a real kick in the guts when I'd go from 50 to 80, and then I would switch to some other game, whatever it was that I felt like I really wanted to play and had been hanging out to play, and I'd put it off because I was doing so well in Destiny. And then I would have 10 or 15, and the Destiny people would drop in and say, oh, hey, how you going? But then obviously they'd disappear because I wasn't playing Destiny, whereas they'd hang out for hours playing Destiny. Yeah, it was just, that was probably the factor for me.
Yeah, okay, interesting.
What about you,
I think
Chippy?
that, well, For one, Destiny I got burnt out on.
It must be one of those games, right?
Oh yeah, honestly, I put so much time into that. About 4,000 hours, I would say, in total into that game. And honestly, yeah, that game burnt me out. But as far as streaming goes, there are moments where I experience game drop off, which is natural. It's when you're playing a game you really enjoy, you really have a lot of fun with, but then all of a sudden you get to a point where you're like, well, the stream is starting to dip. There are less people playing, less people interacting, whatever the case may be. All of a sudden, I'm not getting, my 50 to 60 to 80 to 100 to 150, whatever it is, and I start getting, the 50 and below people coming into the stream, and that's taxing on the brain, because all of a sudden you're like, okay, so now I can't play the game I want to play, because if I play the game I want to play, I'll have this amount of people. And yes, I am driven, and I am really focused. So on my behalf, there's probably something a little bit wrong in my brain when it comes to that, because I have expectations that I set up on myself, never upon my community, never upon the people around me, but my own experience and I sit there with my own judgment of me, and I say, well, I need to hit this because I'm trying to go here, and every time I don't go here, it feels like I've failed for the day. And that comes down to a lot of factors. For one, it's my job. For two, it's we have a baby coming next 5 weeks. So there are a lot of ancillary factors that really do play a big part in the way that I approach streaming. I love streaming. I love my community. We with the things that we do with the Anchor Club, and even the things that I've started to do since coming across to Goa, I really love the community. It's a really tight knit, really amazing group of people, and they are all super supportive. They're all super loving, and we always have a great time on stream. But at the end of the day, I don't want to sit myself in a certain level and stay there and stagnate, because I've seen so many great content creators. That's when they burn out. When they burn out when they don't make progress. They burn out when they're sitting on their 50 to 60 people, and that's it. And they're like, well, no, I definitely deserve to be at the next level from here, but I'm not. And why? And I see it. There have been times where I've had conversations with my friends who have been crying because they haven't been able to get past a certain point. And they look at other streamers who are bigger than both of us, and they're like, well, how come this guy can do it? My streams are way more dynamic, my streams are way more fun, I do so much more cool stuff, and this guy just sits in front of a screen and that's it. He doesn't even pay attention to his chat, and look what's going on here. And it's a real sore point, and you can see it. And I never want to be one of those guys, because I never want to put myself in a position where I feel like that, because for me, for one, I would feel like I was betraying my community, because I would feel like, what, I'm not good enough for you, Shippy? That's how I would feel it would come across. And that's in no way what I want to do. But at the same time, I want to be able to... My thing is very much mental health. My thing is very much community and growth and togetherness. And I'm so proud of being able to get into a stream with the people we've got in there, and a new person comes in and they're like, oh, I'm a new streamer, and I've got 10 viewers, and that's all I have at the moment. That's my followers, and I'd like to do more. And I'm like, you know what? Let's go, everybody in the stream. Let's get around this person. Let's show them that we care. Let's get them to affiliate. And to be able to watch a person come in from day dot and just sit in the stream, and then all of a sudden we had this 50 people just go in and just go follow. Yeah, that's really cool. That power is amazing, and being able to do it on a grand scale would be incredible. Yeah. That to me is the dream, the absolute dream. In an ideal world, I know financials are a very much a dark subject, a very fuzzy, speak no evils kind of subject with streaming. But in a perfect world, my people who subscribe to my channel wouldn't have to, because we would have brand deals in place, we would have sponsorships and all that kind of stuff that would pay for all of that. And if they chose to support, amazing, thank them very much, you're amazing. But they would never have to, because I would like to take that levy away from them to provide free content, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what Twitch is, so there are so many little thoughts. As you can see, I'm bouncing around like crazy on this because I'm a victim of it as well. But I can also see people who go through this, and in a like a slightly less viewership than me, or a lot less viewership than me, and that's what stops them from streaming. Like, they get to this point where I'm at, except in a different layer, and they're done. You know, because they're like, okay, well, I'm never going to get more than 5 people in my stream at any time. I'm gone. Absolutely, I'm done. But I hate to see that, because some of these people are incredible streamers. And they've got all the fun stuff, and they do all the fun stuff, and they're very community based. And I hate to see it, because I want to see them do well. But burnout, so real, and it's so difficult to deal with, I think.
Yeah, I think it's hopefully the people that are pulling out, you just hope that they've made that decision like in good mind, like they're happy with the decision, they've given it a try. A lot of people, like you say, do actually just quit and give up because they don't know what to do, and it affects them mentally. Yeah, that's kind of what I've did. I've kind of stopped, rebranded. Oh no, I'm going to start up again. Just mindset was not in it, and kind of just taking a step back again. It's just I dove into the Goa stuff really for now, but I'm starting to get my mojo back myself. So yeah, I've got plans to get back in there. So I definitely aren't one of those people that's burned out and quit. I'm always thinking about what I'm going to do next. So, but yeah, so hopefully those people, with any luck, some of them are like doing really well in the outside world.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is that a lot of people do have a direction outside of streaming, but they see streaming as a way to make quick money, or they see streaming as a way to, I don't know, get quick clout or more friends or whatever it is. And then when it doesn't happen for them, they completely 180 on that. They slam the door on the way out. And then they're done. And I think that's a shame, because it's very clearly something in mental health wise, you know, it's definitely very clearly something that is affecting them, and they don't have the support because they've left. You know, they've left the community. Most of the time these people will leave the Discord, because you know what, they only got Discord to stream anyway. They only got Discord because streaming was what they were interested in anyway. So they'll have left the Discord, they'll have left the social media side of things, and all of a sudden not only do they have nothing anymore, but they're completely alone, and that builds resentment, and then they never come back to Twitch anyway. So I think that it's really, really important to be able to look at that and diagnose it and assess it, and try to do the right things that we can to help those people. So I mean, that's why I do so much with community. You know, that's why I'm constantly in streams, even if there are only 2 or 3 people, even if I'm the only viewer. I'm actually lurking in about 6 streams right now across a few different tabs, because I legitimately want those people to have the view, even if I can't always be there. And it's simply because I see how rewarding mentally it is for me when I get into a stream, and before I've even pushed go, there's 30 people in there. Like, to me, that's super duper rewarding. Being able to then stream to a whole bunch of people and make them laugh and make them smile and get messages saying, you know, oh, Shippy, I don't know if I'd be alive if if you weren't here. You know, stuff like that. That's the rewarding side of things, you know what I mean? And I want those people to get those views. You know, it is. Sorry, I did the thing I shouldn't do. I read the stream chat while we were talking on the podcast. But TK, you can do it over multiple browsers there, TK, if you want to get more than 4.
Just have 100 different types of browsers open with 4 different tabs on it.
Yeah, you should be fine.
Hopefully, internet's okay.
I just don't know if I don't know how to fix the problem. I don't know how to resolve the problem, other than to tell people, hey, it's okay to just play. Like we're currently talking about here on Goa, that it's okay to just stream where you are and be where you are, and know that if you are consistent and you keep working towards what you're doing, the people will come. And even if they don't come, you will be fulfilled, because you will be doing thing you like to do. You know, so whether you're just playing your favorite game, or if you're legitimately trying to stream and do the streaming as a job, that you're changing games frequently and you're engaging in your community and you're building a Discord and social media and all of that stuff, as long as you're putting the work in, you can't ever really lose, because you're putting the work in. That's kind of one of our latest content guys. We touched on that subject, and I think the thing that will make you successful, and the thing that will keep you hanging in there when you're in those trenches and when you're having hard times, is that you have to.
you have to be addicted to the game of content creation, really. You can't if you've had a bit of a peak, or maybe you haven't even got a peak yet, you're still streaming to a few different viewers. You should be always ever evolving, and if your mind isn't right if you're not geared to think about how can I improve and how could I get more viewers, or why aren't people staying when they come around, as long as you're not putting it all on yourself and saying, oh, people don't like me, because that's not it. There's just so much content out there. It is in essence, in the end, it is entertainment and it's community.
Yeah.
So what can you do to make your community more appealing? What can you do to make your channel or your content more appealing? And because if you're just floating along and you're getting it will affect you. You'll if you do see some peak in your viewers, if you're not really doing much to keep them around, that'll come back down again. It'll affect you mentally. If you're not, it's all about trying to get your head switch on first. I think that's what I take out of what happened with me, is that I didn't have the right mindset going into it. So when I did see troughs, then that really affected me. And I think this time around, having been in the industry for a few years now, I think this time I'm going into it with the mindset that this is just, I love the creative side. I'm addicted to the creative side and trying to come up with different ways to entertain people. So I'm going into it with the mindset of this is like an extension of me. It's a hobby. I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself in terms of followers. I've never really cared about how many followers I've got. To me, it's always been about engagement, and I always like to see the amount of people that chatted on a given night and the amount of chat messages in a given night.
Yeah.
I like to see that pretty high, and that's kind of the only thing I really look at.
Yeah. No, that's not a bad perspective at all, and you're completely correct as well. It is about ever evolving. Like we've said this in the first 2 episodes, is that I have sat here on a daily basis, and people say, "Well, Shippy, how do we do it? What's the secret? How do we do it?" And I say, "Okay, what are you doing?" And they say, "Oh," or they say, "I'm doing this," and it ends up being, a low energy thing, like, Call of Duty, or, something that doesn't engage with your audience, something that doesn't give the time to chat to people. And I'm like, okay, cool. So you like to play this game. That's all well and good. But what else do you do? But what else is there? Do you have nights where you talk to your community on Discord? Do you evolve your content? Do you play different things? Do you exhibit any kind of, willingness to change up your stuff? Do you play new release games? Do you play old classics? What is it that you do that makes you different from 15 million other people? Because at the end of the day, there are so many people on this platform, so many people trying to do this. And if you're not at least a little bit ahead of the curve with that, it's not going to change. Nothing about what you do is going to change. You really have to have that totally different mindset where you're actually trying to improve your streams and trying to make a difference to everything you do, and always and forever evolve the streams. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. It's absolutely the truth. You can't stand out when you're sitting at the computer and you're just like, "Oh yeah, thanks so much for the follow." You can't. You have to be that guy who's like, "Hello everybody, welcome to the stream." I know it sounds really stupid and very, I guess gamerish and all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying let's go, let's go everybody. I'm not doing any of that, but you definitely need to have more to you than just And I know at the end of the day that comes down to a introvert versus extrovert kind of topic, which is in itself another thing as well, because introversion and extroverted people, they come from, there's mental health aspects to that as well. That you may have had some kind of trauma, or there may be a situation in your life that's provoked you to be that way towards things. But we're entertaining people. This is a show. This is entertainment. You need to be able to bring that as well. You know what I mean? Otherwise, if you're not bringing that, what's stopping me from changing streams? What's the defining difference between what you're doing and what anybody else on the platform is doing? And if you can't answer that sincerely, maybe that's it.
Yeah.
And if you're unwilling to change your perspective and do anything different, maybe that's it. And, you know, that's not trying to be like hard love about it or mean about it or anything. It's just about looking outside the box and understanding that, okay, I've played the same game for 5 weeks and nothing has changed. Maybe I play something different. Or maybe I don't play anything at all. Maybe I just talk to my friends. Maybe I just, you know, have a conversation with the stream. One thing that I abhor when it comes to streaming is going into a stream where there are 2 or 3 different voices and everyone's playing games and everyone's eating chips and farting and all this other mess. I can't deal with that. Like, it literally drives me nuts to see it, because it's like, where am I? I'm just sitting here like, do I matter to the guy? Is anything that I'm saying important to you, or are you just literally just, you know, am I just here?
Yeah, it kind of takes away
nothing
from
that gives me that engagement.
Kind of takes away from the live aspect of it. Like, at that point, you're not really
exactly right.
Might as well watch a YouTube video.
Exactly right. So, like, maybe that's it. Try doing something by yourself. I know that comes down to confidence as well, but there are so many little things that you could be doing to try. And I know that it might sound like we're dismissing the mental health here, but we're absolutely not, because it's like, I can see it hurting people when they don't have the viewership that they want, or they haven't reached their goals yet, and you know, I've been doing it for years and years and years, some people say, and they say I still haven't hit the heights that people like yourself are hitting, and I'm only just getting there now. And I'm like, well, great, it's awesome that you're hitting those heights. You know, we don't run the same race. Run the same race. Like, we're completely different people. The way that I have approached my streaming was very purposeful, very methodical. I did it. There are times where I have crafted sort of the experience, you know, like playing Minecraft and creating characters that people could get invested in, or playing Subnautica because I know it did well on YouTube. Whatever the case may be, you know, going through all of this stuff and just trying my best to create an environment where I could then cultivate a community. It worked for me, but that doesn't mean it works for everybody. It doesn't mean that at all. Some people, the race takes longer. Sometimes there are people I know who have come up and they are killing it way beyond anything that I'm doing, and they will very quickly surpass what I'm doing. I can't be mad about that, as much as I'd like to be, as much as I'd like to sit there and be like, you know, who the you think you are, trying to be further along than me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, as much as you might like to think that in your head, no, you got to be like, yeah, awesome. That person's getting their thing. Have one of these ones, and you know, just really, really accept that you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, for sure. And
I'm gonna run my race, and you run your race, and then maybe somewhere along the line we'll meet again. You know?
Yeah, and without like looking, this goes back to the looking at other people's content and focusing on your own content, but you can look at other people and look at their successes and think like, don't look at it as a jealousy type thing. I know that it's hard sometimes. Some people find that hard, but try and look at it as like, what can I learn from this person? Like, why are they taking off? What sort of bits can I take out of how they've taken off, or what sort of content they're providing? And like, how can I twist that and do something similar? If it suits what you do, you got to find out what it is that you do, and what your niche is and where your sort of target audience is first, and obviously hit that. But can you twist it towards your target audience in a way like what they're doing at all, and put your own spin on it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I like what TK just said before. That's an interesting topic. I find myself, I'm very much the same. Very introverted, but can be extroverted on stream, or is extroverted on stream. I'm the same. If you ever watched my Radman stuff back in the day, I was just a clown on stream. But if you out in the real world, I'm an absolute introvert. I'll sit back and I'm happy just sitting there watching everyone else. I'm very awkward to talk to. But for some reason, when I first turned that camera on like 3 years ago, as soon as people started coming in, I was talking their ears off. Like, my wife couldn't believe how much I talked when I first started streaming. She'd never heard me talk this much. But it's quite a different thing.
Honestly, I'd say that for real too. Like, even meeting you, I'm like, this is the most awkward I've ever seen in my life. We're not talking. I can barely make eye contact with him over the other side of the table, and I know we're about to start doing this thing together. We got to talk, and it could tell the difference. And then the first time we got on here, and the 10 minutes before we did the first episode, I'm like, this is this is a different person. I'm sure this is not the same person from the other day. Someone has stolen his beard. Yeah. But that's the thing is that a lot of people can be super duper introverted. Like I'm naturally not quiet, but not like invasive loud.
Yeah.
That being said, though, if I need to be, I do. With wrestling, it was the same deal. You know, I'm the kindest guy. Anyone will tell you, and they actually talk to me in real life, that I'm a sweet guy, I'm family orientated, all that kind of stuff. But the second I go out in front of a crowd on wrestling, I'd just be like, hey, you, why don't you go? Like, you know, like the whole thing would just be that, because that's opening up a character. And the same thing exists in streaming, because, you know, there are days when I sit here and like I put down, get the things, turn the lights on, and I just go like, live. Hello, everybody. You know, like I go from like a point where I'm like miserably down. Like, you know, I'm like, and I say it on stream, I'm like, guys, I've got to tell you, I came on today in a horrible mood. I came on today feeling like garbage, and you guys have helped, because that's true. You know, like some days I'll be streaming and I don't want to stream, but I know that I kind of have to because of like the work side of it. So I'm like, I need to be in there at least 5 days a week. Plus I set a schedule, and I'm not one that breaks schedules. You know what I mean? Like ever, where possible. So for me to not go on for a day is big news. So even if I'm having a bad day, I will still turn it on and I'll still come in, and then I'll feel better by the end of it. But I'm definitely not always like ready to go, Duracell bunny, let's do this energy. Like, yeah, there are times when I don't want to be on there at all. But then when I start, everything gets in and we have a good time, and we wind up and we have fun, and, you know, the memes and the stupid stuff and everything. And that relates back to a point that you were making before that I wanted to touch on real briefly, is that taking other people's content. Pod on Air is a great example of someone who has taken suggestions of what I have told him to do, and completely crafted his own world. So like he's like, you know, very with meme culture, you know, like, you know, dumb things coming up on screen, all that kind of stuff. The stuff that we do on a stream on a daily basis, that works for me. That works for my stream. People enjoy it. You know, it's stupid. You know, we do dumb stuff all the time, but people enjoy it. So then Pod takes that, and he's like, what do you use to do that with? How do you make it work the way it works? I'm like, all right, we use this. He's like, okay, cool. And then the next time I go to his stream, he's got like everything. There's just buttons doing stuff everywhere.
It's good stuff.
And then that helps him. He grows more. And then everything that he grows with can then also help me too, because we funnel people across to each other. I might send a raid to him. He'll send his people to me. He'll be like, oh, I remember when Shippy brought 50 people into the stream. Oh, I remember when Shippy brought 100 people in the stream. He's on 9 right now, guys. Go say hello. Go thank him for doing that the other day. You know, and then that all kind of feeds into itself anyway. So you're not stealing, is what I'm trying to say. No. Like you're not stealing from anyone. You're not taking anyone's stuff. You're simply taking what works as a formula on Twitch for one person that you might see, 2 people you might see, 10 people you might see, and you're applying it in your own way. And if it works, amazing, because you've figured it out. You know, you've taken someone who's got the key to success, and you just said, hey man, can I borrow it? I just need to open the door real quick. You can have the key back, it's fine, but just let me open the door real quick. I'll go in, I'll get some stuff, and we'll go from there. You never need to feel like you're stealing from people. You never need to feel like you're taking ideas from people. It's just working together. And that goes back to my credo with streaming, is that if we all work together, we can all win together. And yeah, like that's why it hurts when I see people having a mental health trouble when it comes to streaming. When I see people burning out, and I see people not applying like advice, and then having it fail, or applying advice in the worst case scenarios and having it still fail. But rather than
all the time. It just is
it
trial and error, and sometimes what works for one person won't for another. But you do it, you try it out. If it doesn't work, you try something else. And if you keep trying things, like something's going to click for you. Like you're going to find those things along the way that do click for you.
You might dress up like a superhero, for example. You know what I mean? Like there's so many things that work that may not work for anyone else. I don't think I could ever dress up as a superhero. You know, every now and again I might end up being a girl, but I don't think I could ever dress up like a superhero. And I think that that's definitely a different element, you know, to what you did and what you will do again, I'm sure, and what I currently do on stream myself, because, you know, I can't do the same stuff that you're doing, but it afforded you great success, but there's no way it would work for me. Whereas conversely, there are probably some things I do on stream that you wouldn't be able to do that will give you less success. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, yeah, it's not about running the race against anybody else. It's about constantly improving yourself so that you can grow into the kind of person that you want to be. And assessing that maybe COD every day is not the way to do things. Maybe being this guy who sits here and doesn't talk to the stream and just pops heads all day.
I think that's me.
Maybe
I think that's me 2 years ago. Where'd you find that clip?
Yeah. But, you know, like you look at this and it's a joke, but there's such a reality to it. Like there is such a reality to it that people do that and they expect difference, a change. You know what I mean?
No, that's sort of that kind of is coming back again. Also to look at other people's content. The people that you watch that do that are very successful did that at a time. They've been doing that for like 5, 6, 7, 8 years on Twitch before Twitch was a huge thing. Yeah, we talked about it a few weeks ago. You really got to find that thing that makes you stand out. Now it's different. We have to actually try harder than those guys did. Like the Shrouds and the Ninjas and that back in the day, that sort of built communities before they were huge, but they were building communities and growing with a small platform. We can't do what they did back in the day. Like we're actually going to have to work harder if we're going to make anything even a quarter of the size or a tenth of the size of what they've got. We're going to be working much harder to try and entertain people and cultivate communities where we can. So if you do,
they can afford to.
Yeah, they could just keep doing what they
now.
did.
Yeah, exactly.
It's totally different now. I think going back to the mental health sort of side of things, I think surrounding yourself with people that are like-minded, like other streamers that are all on the same level, that are all striving for the same thing and all experiencing the same ups and downs at the same levels is very, very important. And to open up and talking to those people and sliding into their DMs and having chats about what's going on for the people that are that you find that are open to talking to you. Not everyone's going to want to have huge conversations, but finding communities for that is, I think, very, very beneficial to those people that are feeling burnout or feeling mental health to do with their content in particular. And in real life too. If you make friends, we're making friends in these communities too, so sticking by them and finding the people that you connect with most is going to help you through it and find what you want out of this whole thing. That was the idea behind Streamaholics, to give everyone some insight. Like 6 months ago, when I was 9 months removed from like not really doing any content and kind of falling in this big ditch, Streamaholics was a thing that I started on Facebook at the time, because I was going to start streaming on Facebook again. So I was attached to my page and I was going to have a podcast on there, and I was going to start building a community because I wanted there to be a place for smaller streamers to come and connect, and I was going to interview them. And that was my whole idea behind Streamaholics. So I knew how important that was. The only reason why it didn't happen is because even in just the few weeks of me trying to get around setting it up and giving the logos for the page and all that sort of stuff, and trying to note down and cultivate this plan of attack for my content, I started to feel down all the time, just surrounding myself in that all the time. And that's kind of why it didn't go ahead. In the end, I was just like, no, I can feel myself getting depressed over streaming again, just thinking about it. So I turned it off. But we've brought it back. That was the whole idea behind bringing it back. We're not, we're doing a bit more than mental health here, but this is why this episode was really important, and I was really excited to do as well, because it kind of ties back to the original origins of Streamaholics. So, community is was the whole point of it, though.
Yeah, and look, it's true. Like finding people that you can surround yourself with that have the same vision is super, super important. Even if you kind of don't align correctly on everything, you might play different games, have different content, but if you have the same level of drive It can really help with the mental health side of things. Like there are people in the chat right now who I speak to on a daily basis, like Wit, for example, where we're constantly going back and forth in conversation. We're on opposite sides of the globe. We stream on opposite sides of the time scale as well. And honestly, when we stream, it's very different. Our content is not the same at all. He plays a fairly consistent amount of Dead by Daylight. He'll play Ghost of Tsushima and things like that. So he has a very, very different sort of overall stream to me. That being said, anytime he has a question about anything, like anything at all, I'll be in the DMs. Anytime I have a question, I share in his success. He shares in my success. I'm like, bro, look at these. Look at the average viewers we had today. And then a week later, he'll do the same thing. And we really do bounce off each other like that. And that has helped a great deal. He was actually one of my clan members in D-Generation Vex, the Destiny clan on PlayStation,
nice.
which was, I'm the founder of that one. We have like 80 people or something still in it there now. It's ridiculous. But yeah, like we used to raid together all the time. We used to do all that stuff. Even before streaming, we would do, like, I think I streamed twice while him and one other member of the clan were watching, just with no camera, no mic, no nothing at all, not understanding how Twitch works whatsoever. But yeah, like, I've been following him pretty much since then, and then when he started streaming, I'm like, this is really cool. I got around it, made sure to get involved in it, and now he's one of my trusted, like the most trusted people in my moderation team. I'm in every single one of his streams unless I'm asleep because I work until 4 a.m. sometimes. And you know, we kind of just go back and forth on that, and he's helped me tremendously because there have been days when I'm like, I'm done, I'm absolutely done. You know, we had like 42 people in the stream today, and that's absolutely ridiculous, and we shouldn't have that many people. You know, like and the days where I've like gone completely crazy and thrown shit and just had a really bad time. And obviously, like that's not bad numbers for any stretch of the imagination, but for me and my trajectory and my planning, the world has ended. The world has ended. The sky is falling. I'm done. You know, and then I'll go on to the Discord and I'll say sorry 50 times to everybody. And yeah, you'll see like my mental health would really take a dip. But people like that, they bring me back. Even though he's a gigantic troll, he brings me back. Like he does.
That's like part of the secret. That just going off what you just said there, that's what everyone needs to do. Everyone needs to find a wit or three in their life.
Yeah,
to share in the journey. Having those
and make them your mods.
Important.
Legit, make them your mods. Like, if you have a stream, make them your mods. Make those people the people that you trust with your stream, because those people, they won't let you down. Those people will be there every stream. Those people will always be sharing and retweeting. Bestia's another one. Like, Bestia has found so many business contacts for me, like, since I started streaming, has edited videos for me, has been a constant sounding board for whenever I've had any kind of troubles. I don't know what I would be doing as far as streaming without him. He's the person who got me into Goa, like the person that even got me onto Goa. You know, like even in the first place, they're like, "Hey, Shippy, you should check this out. Check out Goa." There are a few more people who are exactly like that as well.
Thanks, Bestia.
And it's just. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. You know, thank you to all of them. Like, because without all of them, I couldn't do it. But finding a group of people, or even a couple, even one person that you can have that conversation with, like one person, you're on the right path. You know, like even if it's just someone who can just say, you know, man, how are you doing? What do you need? I saw you were a little bit sad at the end of your stream. Is there anything that I can do? How can I help you improve? You know, like even like Caffeinated Bish, who's on the other side of the world as well, shouldn't even be awake right now, I think. Maybe at work. I don't know how time zones work, but constantly the amount of content that has been delivered from Caffeinated Bish that has cost me at this stage little to no money at all, like for like artwork and things like that, it is incredible. Like, and those kind of people, they're the people that you want around you. You know what I mean? Not to mooch off, not to steal from or anything like that, but people who lift you up in conversation, people who support you in conversation. Like, that's the people you want in your circle. And people always say to keep your circle small, but I say absolutely that. You shouldn't do that. Make your circle as big as it can be, but fill it with good people.
Yeah,
fill
definitely.
it with good people,
That's right.
And that's how you'll feel better. You will.
Yeah, no, for sure. You got to get those good people around you to help you through it. And the people that will do things like, that's it's because they're mates. You're building friends. You're finding friendships online, and that's what buds do for each other. You do stuff for each other, and you help each other through all the bad times. So, having
a lot of these people I've
important.
never met in my life.
Yeah.
I never met them.
That's a good thing.
A lot of them. I was up till 4 a.m. this morning talking to a person from America who I never met, but I consider him one of my best friends. You know what I mean? Like, just because he's one of my mods, we always go back and forth on conversation. It's just. Yeah,
it's good.
You need those
online relationships like this, and groups and communities like this are super important. Even if you don't even if they're just a name in a chat or on a Discord, that can be very, very important people to you. Like, I just meeting for the first time some of the gold people the other week. As awkward as fuck as I am, just meeting everyone there, I just felt like I was a part of like a group that I'd known forever. Like I felt like I really connected with a lot of the people there. I don't know how they felt about me, but that's how they felt to me. So I think it was very, very important for me.
It was great. It was really, really good to meet you for the first time as well. Like, it really was, despite I wasn't even sure how to approach conversation because I'm naturally loud. You saw me the whole time. I was talking to everyone. like people were always around me asking something the whole night. But I was like, man, I'll get some photos with Lukey. We're about to do this thing. I think we got one the whole night, and I look garbage in it, so I didn't post it.
No, but that's why I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I probably looked beautiful.
Yeah, if you looked garbage, it would have been up on the internet the next day. Like, if I look good and you look good, but no, other way around, no chance. But I think you hit the nail on the head as far as the community side of things go. Supporting people around you is the goal to keep you from leaving. And I think that we've had a pretty good discussion around not using other people as a measuring stick for what you do. That's a really hard thing to do, though. Like, I look at people who are sitting above me at the moment, and I'm like, but my content's either better or as good.
Yeah.
It is to sit there and go, I can do that. In fact, I do that. In fact, I'm pretty sure you saw me do that once, and now you're doing that. like those moments, they suck. But it's you can't look at other people's success and say, oh, where's mine? That's not how it works. Like, you have to look to other people to inspire you. You know what I mean? Like, to give you the confidence you have to do the new thing, to reach the next height, not look at them and go, well, man, I'm jealous of them, so I'm just going to absolutely just shit on their parade. And when you get grumpy about it, and I'm not going to stream anymore. Because like I said, there are people who have just gone after this stuff. And I think that's a real shame. Yeah, I really, really do.
It's a tough industry. Like, there's so many people that I used to know from 2 years ago on Facebook. Some of them are doing well. Some of them have just quit. It is one of those industries that's so super competitive and so overpopulated that it just churns people out and spits them out the other end. And that's why the focusing on your well-being while you're there and afterwards and before and all the time is very, very important.
No, total agreement. And that's why I try to keep my circle as wide as possible. And it's honestly why I spend probably far too much time on the computer, because I will get up in the morning, I will open 10, 15 tabs, whatever it is, across multiple browsers. I will go into everyone's stream. I'll say, hello, what's going on? Have a 5-minute conversation if I can. Get breakfast, maybe sit here, eat breakfast while I'm getting ready for the gym. I'll have my protein shake here. I'll have my eggs, all that kind of stuff. I'll be sitting here typing away. Maybe even sometimes take my phone to the shower and use the streaming Yorkie or something and make sure I've got automatic lurks on for people. But I'll be sitting here getting ready. I'll have a stream in my ear on the way to the gym. I'll get to the gym, I'll put something else on. But literally, that's my day to begin with. And then I'll come back, have a shower, I'll make some lunch, and then I'll get back to the computer and I'll sit at the computer again right up until 3 o'clock ish. And then from there, I'll do home stuff, family stuff, and then periodically come back into the computer room. Here for a lurk. I'm real sorry. I've got family shit to do. I can't be here. I'll drop another lurk down, and then I'll rack off again. And then by around about 8 o'clock, 8:30, 8:45, I'm ready to come in here. And then I get in here by 9 o'clock, set up everything, go, holy, everything is broken on my stream. What am I going to do? Spend the next half an hour trying to fix it, and then fix it just in time to go live. Go live for like 4.5 hours, and then probably spend the next hour and a half-ish winding down because either I've decided to, drink way too much G Fuel in an attempt to get a sponsorship on stream, or to keep myself awake, whatever, or just the general buzz from being in a stream and being around entertainment. And then I'll fall asleep by 3 o'clock, maybe 4 o'clock. And then by 7:30, 8 in the morning, we're back again. So burnout's hard, and I get it. And focusing on streaming is hard, and I get it. But there is a difference between what I present and what my community represents, and what I try to instill upon those people and other people who don't do that as well. I'm probably the furthest extreme example in a lot of ways. That's one of the reasons why I really, really need a laptop, because that way I could sit out there and do a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I honestly think that what I do, if I actually broke it down and showed people what I did on a daily basis, I don't know how many people could do it. And that's not me saying that I'm better than anyone at all. That just means I'm crazy. But I do understand burnout. I do understand being so stressed that you don't want to stream again for the rest of the week. I've had days where I've just stopped. I've just not been able to do it. But at the end of the day, I know that if I keep pushing and I keep evolving my content, like we were trying to say before, that sooner or later it'll either work or it won't. And that's what stops me from feeling like I'm doing the wrong thing. And yeah, the people who don't have that and they stop, they're the ones that I wish didn't. You know what I mean? Yeah.
With everything that you do with your streaming, that it goes back to, I was just thinking about one of the questions that we got in the Discord from Gamma about what do you think about the best option of stepping away from streaming? If that's your entire world and you do it for a living or for the potential of living, or you're trying to make it your living, how much pressure would that put on you now if you were burnt out so much that you had to step away from it? Because I imagine that would then add extra mental pressure on you then, knowing that I should be live right now. I need the break, but I also need to be live. Because
incredible
it's my
pressure.
job.
Yeah, no, incredible pressure. I don't know. I read the word beards and started putting beard oil on. I don't even know why I did that. But yeah, no, absolutely incredible pressure. I know now that if I didn't stream, on the days where I'm too sick to stream, a couple of weeks ago, I had a stress-related, we think, not too sure, stomach problem, which sent me to the hospital in an ambulance twice. I was in agonizing pain to the point where I couldn't stand, I couldn't breathe. I'm on a bunch of medicine for it now, which I don't really talk about because there's no necessity to do so. But I was a mess. I had let stress get to me. I'd let the stress of streaming get to me, and life and the baby that was coming and all that stuff, to the point where I couldn't do anything except be in agony. I went to the doctors. They did everything. They did colonoscopies. They did all the CAT scans, all the scans you could possibly do, and they couldn't find anything. So they said, well, try this medicine, see how you feel. And there are still days where I could feel it getting to me. Absolutely. There are still days. In fact, there's an Irish YouTuber named Jacksepticeye who's currently going through what I can ascertain as being the same thing. Because it sounds exactly the same. Yeah. But it just sounds like stress. It just sounds like it hurts so much you can't even think, and it's stressful. But in that week, and people who are in my Discord at that time, they will be able to tell you that during that week, I still posted in there every day. I still tried my best to provide photos or quick video messages or whatever it was, just saying, hey guys, I'm real hurt. Yeah. I don't know when I'm coming back. So that having a schedule and having to keep a schedule, it's stuck in my brain. You know what I mean? It's if I suddenly couldn't do it, and I had to step away, I don't know what I would do. I don't know whether all of that stress would fall away like a wet noodle, or if the fact that I couldn't do it anymore would create more stress, which would make me sicker. You know what I mean? So, like, who knows at this point? I think that's really, really important to kind of look at. But I think as far as like the concept of being able to step away and when the right time to step away is, I think it really comes down to you. Like, do you enjoy streaming, or do you simply do streaming because it's either habitual or financial or for some kind of clout, ego chase? Or do you just enjoy the games? Because you don't have to stream to play games.
Yeah.
So my question is that if you can't give me a reason why you stream, why are you streaming?
Yeah.
That to me is the time to step away. If you can't provide an answer to those questions, maybe just don't do it. And I'm not saying forever, but maybe take the time to step back, look from the outside, look at yourself and see, man, should I be doing this? Is this something that, is this something that is improving my life, or is it something that is taking away from my life? And if it's not improving your life, then chances are it's a bad thing. We were almost perfectly in sync for that hydrate, by the way. That was very good. Do you agree with that? Do you disagree with that? Let me know your thoughts.
No, dude, that was kind of similar to what I was thinking. Like, especially if you're a hobby streamer, like if you're only a very small time streamer, obviously you could probably step away whenever you want, really, because you haven't sort of found your spot there yet. But if you're someone who has a lot of viewers behind you and that pressure, even not a lot of viewers, but just a handful of, probably not a handful. What am I talking about here? So if you've got like over 20 viewers that regularly watch you probably do feel a lot of pressure to make sure you're there all the time. If you've only got 2 or 3 and one of those browsers is yours, you could probably step away for a few weeks and come back, and it won't take you long to get back to where you were. So it probably depends on how much you've put into it so far and how many inroads you've made before. The more inroads you're making into turning this into a thing, the more and more pressure I think builds up. So that, I think you hear from a lot of like the big streamers that rely on this for a living, have that issue and fall into that category where if they miss a stream they lose money, and that hits them in the back pocket, and that also starts affecting them mentally, and just the decrease in numbers from not having YouTube videos up for a week or two or whatever. It's massive in this industry. It's unlike any other industry really in that sort of sense, where because you're putting on the entertainment from home, you really got to, maybe if you're stepping away just for like a week or so, you really have to get creative with with content that you've already pre-organized beforehand, I guess, to try and allow you that break. But I can't imagine not being able to take even a week's break like you can in a normal job, because you know that it's going to cost you so much money. I mean, I guess when I think about it in that sort of sense, I own my own business and I'm the only person that works there. So if I take a week off or take any time off, I actually do lose money now. So it's kind of similar. And I guess if you're in a comfortable position, it's not going to... If you're in a really comfortable position or a comfortable enough position, losing a little bit of money isn't essentially losing money. I guess if you get to the point where you're losing money actually means you can't pay your bills, that's probably where it should be a stress. But I guess you get into this game as a streamer and as a content creator knowing that you want that for yourself, you want to be that successful if that's what you're doing it for, but you get into the game knowing that things like that will come along when you get there. So you can't just hide from it the whole way along and then go, oh, now I need to take 2 weeks off because of health reasons, and oh, now I'm going to lose money and followers or whatever. It maybe needs to become part of your mindset going into this game to begin with. So I think that's really, really important when you're first starting out or when you're a lower level streamer, is just to make sure that you understand what the game is first and wrap your head around it first before. Like you want the successes, but are you really ready for the successes and all the other things that come with it? Because it's not just all money and It's not just all like cash wave it around. And
Yep.
Red Bull sponsorships. That's not what it's all about.
No,
Make sure you're ready
you're
for it.
absolutely correct. Like that's what I was kind of getting towards when I was saying earlier that I came in with a mindset, and that I came in with a mindset to succeed with what I was doing. I wasn't out to manipulate people, you know what I mean? But I came in with a mindset that was like, okay, I need to do this for this amount of time. And that's how it works. But I'll tell you straight up, candidly as well, that if I miss a day of streaming, I can easily see my money go. Last month, before we got Twitch payout, there was a couple of days where I didn't stream because that's just kind of my schedule, and I had 1 day extra off as part of that schedule. In that 1 day, I lost 400 USD when it came time to get paid. And now that is ridiculous, but that is a symbol of how much of a difference it can make if you're not there. Like if you're not there working and doing the thing. Even if I had a streamed on that day, that's not the plural.
If you had a streamed on that day, you probably wouldn't have made any other.
Even if I had have streamed on that day, I may have only recovered maybe half of that, let's say, at like a best case scenario. Which wouldn't have hurt as much. Obviously, it wouldn't have been much of a sting. But yeah, absolutely, missing a day can mean the difference between
it's a lot of pressure,
a good amount of money. And if you're doing that as your job, like someone like myself is, where this is legitimately what's paying to keep food on the table, if I don't have that, then 1 day could mean the difference between me deciding that I will be the one not to eat for the day, you know, like, and that's a very big pressure to put on people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Like it's a lot of pressure to put on yourself. And what I'm trying to say is that comes down to everybody too. Is that I'm only speaking from my specific experience, but there are people every day. These people I've been speaking about, who the ones that quit, you know, they're going through that. And if they don't stream for a day and then they lose a portion of whatever their income is, like, it's just as heartbreaking because they're in there doing it for, you know, whether it's financial or a hobby, they still want to be able to have that accomplishment and they want to be able to grow. And, you know, who wouldn't want to have a little bit of the old fame? You know what I mean? Like, who wouldn't want to do that? It's I think it's part of what we do here. So when that doesn't work out the way it's supposed to, because honestly, I still don't understand how the Twitch payout side of things works. You know, you'll be sitting there, be like, "Oh yeah, cool, getting heaps of money." Open it the next day, and just have no idea what's happening. Like, yeah. I don't get it. Like, I do not get it. So, yeah, I can definitely understand how much mental pressure it puts on you, and I think that it's important to remember that, you know, there are so many different facets of how you can feel mental health strain on Twitch. You know, whether it's a financial strain, whether it's a viewership strain, whether it's you know, all of the topics we've covered today, whether it's burnout. There are so many different facets and to what can make you feel okay as a streamer. And sometimes, you know what, because we're people, some days you might just be having a bad day. Like, some days you might just wake up and not want to do anything at all. And the easiest way to do that is just to be sad, you know, and that's okay too, you know. Like, we put so much pressure on ourselves to get in and put the face on and do the things, but when you're having a bad day, you don't want to. And then that reflects poorly, and then everything else that I've just spoke about might be affected too.
Yeah, so
you know, because all of a sudden all of a sudden you're too sad, and then you don't do well, and then, you know, you might see your finances go down, you might see your numbers go down, whatever it is, you know, like, because you've had a bad day. So there are so many factors, and it is very, very mentally straining to do what we do here. It takes a toll. I guess for me, my thing is that you're not alone. My DMs are literally always open. I welcome everybody to have a conversation, because you can't have a conversation if you're not here. And obviously we have like Lifeline and all those other support things, because they are very real in our world here. And we are very, very aware that we don't understand the struggle that someone else might be going through, and we might not understand it until it's too late.
Yeah.
So, you know, please make sure that if you're having any of these feelings, if you're depressed about any of this stuff in general, please do seek proper medical help. Neither of us here are trained in this, as far as I know. None of us here have any medical history in any of this at all. All we can do is give you our personal perspective and our experience in time. And I say experience lightly because I've only been doing this for a year. I'm not exactly like the world's greatest streamer here. You know, so all I can do is give you the advice for the things that have helped me weather the storm. And I'm sure Lukey's the exact same.
Yep, no, exactly. It's the way I look at this. Like, I was going to say something along those lines too, to make sure if you do need some help, that you're reaching out to people that can help you in a professional way. That's definitely the way to go. This is kind of just like peers talking to other peers, and that's kind of the whole idea with the Streamaholics. Like I said before, originally, is just developing a community around people that are all going through the same sort of ups and downs, the roller coaster ride of content creation, and sharing our own experiences with each other and getting around each other and supporting each other. Absolutely. And like I said, it's hard. What we do, if you're actually here to do it, it's not easy. If you're actually here to play and to go hard at this, it's not an easy thing to do. It's an even harder thing to succeed in. Mm-hmm. It is an even harder thing to win at this, but that comes down to your own personal metric as well. So for me, my victories here and my goals, they're different to what they were when I first started to grow and to climb. Originally, I'm like, you know what, we're going to get that purple tick, we're going to get that G Fuel sponsorship, we're going to do all the amazing stuff, and don't you worry about it, it's going to be the best. But honestly, after having streamed and been kind of at the level I'm at for a little while now, while still growing, but having sort of remained consistent for a while, one thing that I've learned is that it's more important to cultivate positive people around you. It's more important to build a community that cares, and you need to worry less about trying to do certain checkbox things and more about doing the things you do well. Yeah. That's kind of the only advice that I can give. And if you want to grow further, find a way. Speak to someone, speak to me, speak to Lukey, speak to whoever you can who may be doing something better than what you're doing at the moment, or even just differently. And just try something different, you know, just do something different. And if you need to take a break from streaming, don't worry, you're not doing anything wrong by taking some time away either. If streaming is physically and mentally hurting you, take time away. Yeah, take time away, take a breath, reassess what it is you want from streaming. And if you want more, work towards getting more. If you want less, it's okay to just play. Like, it really, really is. If you just want to play games and you just want to enjoy your community, have a few friends there watching you, it's okay. We don't all need to be the next XQC. We don't all need to be Ninja, you know, we don't. Some people have a real desire to reach those lofty heights, and to them, amazing. But you can be you, you know? Mm-hmm. You can be you. Steps too, and that's it. Small steps too, even if you do have an expectation or a goal to be like the best streamer of all time, not setting that as your only goal, and setting small steps along the way, and really what am I trying to say here? Really acknowledging when you reach those small steps and celebrating them along the way too. Yeah. It can be a real boost. The only other advice that I can give, which is outside of your content, just to help with the mental thing, because it is going to be a roller coaster, your content creation career or journey. The only other thing I can suggest is to make sure that your health on the other end is good too. So make sure you're getting your rest, make sure you're hydrating, exercising, doing all those other things that are good for the mind too. And that'll surely go a long way to helping you out when you are facing those trials in your content.
If you don't, you'll end up looking like me and looking like I need to sleep for about 18 years. Like you will. If you don't sleep, it'll be bad. Make sure you get another thing in your life, whether it's the gym or whether it's an artistic, creative output. Do something else. Like, definitely stream if you want to.
Yeah.
And even if you're not getting like a big success out of it at the time or whatever it is, do something else, whatever it may be, whether it's improving your own physical health, whether it's improving your mental capacity and your mental health. Definitely find something else. You don't want to be stuck putting every egg into a basket where there are 15 million other baskets. Like you definitely want to be able to get around and achieve in other things. You know, that's why I'm working on voice acting. I've got a few projects lined up for that. That's why I'm working on the podcasting stuff. Yeah, absolutely. I've always wanted to do it. I've got a real passion for voice acting. The only problem I have with voice acting is everywhere you go, it's always like, sign up now. If you'd like to be a voice actor, you only have to pay $300 a year, and then maybe you can get an ad with a company. Like, there's no like, hey, bro, you want to come do a voice? There's nothing like that. It's all these agencies and bullshit where you pay money to get seen.
I'm going to be honest.
So that's the thing I don't like about it.
I'm going to be honest. If someone walks up to me in the street and goes, "Hey, bro, do you want to come and do a voice?" I'm probably not going to go with them.
I mean, it depends. Like, voice acting on like a white van, maybe I'm going to go to the van. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. But yeah, like, if you obviously, that's another thing with developers, and that helps with streaming as well. And then there's things like, you know, like radio is another great avenue to get into if you want to kind of find something that's similar to this.
Yeah. Yep.
And just do something more as well, because you don't want to throw everything into one thing, because the second you do that and it doesn't work, it's bad.
Yeah, you kind of stuck.
Yeah, exactly right. Like, I've kind of put all my eggs into one basket because, you know, with my neck being broken and being unable to do a 9-to-5 job, I don't have a lot of other options directly in front of me. But even then, I'm still looking in other avenues.
Yeah.
You know, like doing the podcast isn't streaming. Like, this isn't streaming. This is podcast. This is another avenue, albeit like, you know, like a not a very large leap from one thing to the next. It's still something different. Looking into voice acting, you know, looking into development of games and shorts and skits and YouTube content and all that kind of stuff. Like, it may be a leap in a very similar direction, but it's still a different thing. So yeah, like 100% recommended that you try to stimulate another part of your body at the same time. And I know that sounds very, I know what I said. I know what that sounded like. And I know, but that's not what I meant. What I meant was like, stimulate your mind, you know, do something with your brain, even if it's just maths, like, you know, do something that's not just streaming.
Now, all that stuff sounds very exciting. It's all content it's all sort of content creation, creative sort of stuff, and it sounds really exciting. Like, just you talking about all that stuff, I'm just like, oh, it's kind of where I used to be, like thinking about all the things that I was going to add to things and just planning. But then we get to another one of those mental health sort of situations where you have that sort of decision paralysis and you want to do 100 things at once and end up doing none of them. But that's another story. I don't know if we've got another hour.
Oh, well, that's definitely another stream. Like, that in itself is another stream, absolutely. And I do want us to spend a little bit of time on this in general, because I think that a Q&A on the mental health side of streaming would be a real good segment. You know, we can even get rid of like Shippy's rants if you want to have this as the segment instead. Because, you know, I'm a rant all the time if you don't stop me from ranting.
We'll have another 40 minutes of our sleeves if we do that.
Yeah, exactly right. Like, I'm not exactly quiet when it comes to the things I'm mad about. But like in video broadcast, which I could just but like in general, like, this is definitely something that I think would be very useful for streamers who are either very, very new to streaming, or on the other side of the table, people who have been streaming for a long time, seeing people like myself come up, seeing people who have come up and have done really good in a very short time. like their mental health as it relates to the situations at hand, because that's obviously an entirely different side of the coin. And I'm sure like there are people who are watching the cast right now who have experienced that, where they're like, well, how come I've been streaming for 4 years and X person is now doing this much better? And so what I'm trying to say there is it does work on both sides.
Yeah.
Like there are always going to be people who are jealous of you no matter what you're doing. Either you're the person who's new, or you're the person who's old, or you're the person who's doing well. There's always going to be, like, I look at people who I see who do better than me, and I get it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel the same way. I get that stress too. So, yeah, none of us are immune to it, I don't think.
No,
I think it would be... Yeah, no, I'm definitely not. So, yeah, I think it'd be a good idea to add this into sort of like a semi-regular rotation. I know that we had concepts to cover the news, and I think they're great ideas as well, but I really feel like we've done more in the past hour than we've done sort of so far.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think unless there's something huge happening that would be interesting to talk to, I think the stuff that we've talked about the last couple of weeks, last week was more just general streaming questions, and this week with the mental health stuff, I think I enjoy that a bit more. So as long as the viewers and the audience is enjoying that sort of stuff, I'd be happy to sort of go along more of those lines too.
Yeah, I don't want to be sitting here going, and today, in today's news, Nintendo of America, they said they're going to open up exclusivity to all other consoles. Like, obviously, that'd be huge news. They'll never do it. But, like, I don't want to be necessarily doing that every stream just to be doing that, I think it's great to have a news segment. Definitely think that there is a spot for that. And I think that we could do that for sure, absolutely. But I think that we have the facility to help so much more people, like, actually get the answers when it comes to stream advice, or when it comes to, like, advice on how to deal with things like burnout and stuff like that. Like, and at the end of the day, I know you're the same. We just want to help people,
Yeah. That's what it's all about.
I know we've run way longer than normal today. I know we're 20 minutes over where we usually were.
It's all good.
But, that kind of speaks to it. That kind of speaks to what we're doing. And I hope you guys have enjoyed. And I'm sorry that this stream oftentimes becomes Lukey ask a question, and Shippy talks for 45 minutes, and then Lukey asks another question. I very much so am. But I hope you guys have really enjoyed what we do.
Sorry, that's 100% fine. I'm here for the next sort of hour and a half anyway, so if anyone wants to chat to me more about this sort of stuff, I'm going to be hanging around anyway. So if anyone wants to hang around and continue the conversations, and I can read a bit more of chat, that's 100% fine. The next I'll be here till 9 p.m. anyway, so we can do a bit of the Streamaholics after show kind of thing.
The Streamaholics after Warship.
After Warship. Shippy's gone now. Quick.
Oh, yeah, quick. Everyone talk.
No, it's all good.
At the end of the day, yeah, I think that we've done a good job here today. I think that one of these days we're going to figure out a way to really either start the stream off without me botching it, or end the stream without either one of us botching it. I think that if we use take 2 from today, that's fine, guys. Okay. Media team, all those guys, use take 2. Don't use take 1. Take 1 was garbage. And I think that we got a lot of good stuff here today. And for next week.
Chats.
Well, what's the go? What's the plan for next week, do you think?
Well, I don't think we necessarily got to everybody's questions in the Discord from before, but maybe we could spend more time on some actual questions, like when people were posting some stuff in the chat here tonight. If you send some stuff out to us, even on Twitter, or hit us up on Twitter throughout the week of things that you might want to hear us talk about, I'd be happy to cover some of that stuff too, like get in beforehand, and we can start doing some work on it and get back to you next Friday night with some, and really delve into some of those topics, or we can pick some of the best ones if there's a few.
For sure.
See how we go. Yeah.
So tag us both on Twitter if you can. We'll give those off in a minute, and then just hashtag Streamaholics, just so that we know where it is and we know what you're asking about. I'll also post in my community and we will post in the Goa Discord as well. And yeah, just it's time. We haven't done a proper episode on it yet. I think the next episode should really be Ask Streamaholics. So I want you to bring your questions to one of the areas. So whether it be the Discord, the Twitter, wherever it is, ask us questions and we'll go through them. Wherever you can find us, just hashtag it Streamaholics, and then we'll go from there. I think that we could get some really, really good stuff out there. Now, it can be about anything. If you got advice on how I do the dumb shit that I do on stream, ask about that. If you've got mental health questions about, what the best things to do on stream are, ask about that. Whatever it is that you have queries on, I think that'd be a really, really good thing for us to cover. And additionally to that, we do have about 5 other sort of ancillary questions to answer here. That I'm actually pretty keen to get to. So we have some more stuff to cover next week. So I think that next week might be a little bit of a cut and paste of the end of what this potentially would be if we were going to go for 2 hours, as well as whatever questions you guys might have the next time.
Sounds good to me. We'll chuck those ones in the back pocket and get to them next week.
Excellent. Right.
All right. Well, I did the intro. I came up with that really awesome intro that we did. So you're gonna have to come up with it. The outro is going to be Shippy's thing, I think. So you're gonna have to come up with something, Shippy. Okay.
I got it. Firstly, though, before we get to the outro, firstly, Lukey, where can they find you on social media?
Oh, I'm glad you asked, Shippy. If anyone wants to find me off stream at all during the week, you could find me at Lukey Bangerz on all of the platforms, whether that's Twitter, which I'm most active on out of all the social medias. You could find my channel there on Facebook as well as Lukey Bangerz, although I'm not using that at the moment. But you can also find me on Twitch at Lukey Bangerz as well, or /Lukey Bangerz, twitch.tv/Lukey Bangerz with a Z because I'm cool. What about you, Shippy? Where can we find you?
Oh, thank you for asking. Well, then, you know what, guys? You can find me at the Warship pretty much everywhere except for Twitter, because we're currently still in the middle of a war. Negotiations are definitely over and done with. I am slowly but surely building an army. We're going to destroy Twitter because they have still not given me the Warship. There's one person who made an account 9 years ago and hasn't posted since. I would really like that. Please, Twitter, give me my goddamn the Warship. Because outside of that, everywhere else, you'll find me at the Warship. You'll find me on Twitter at _Warship. And yeah, I'm real sorry about that, but there's not much I can do about it at this point because Twitter support is atrocious. Twitter will fall. The Anchor Club will destroy it. We'll raise it to the ground. It's fine. We have plans. It'll be all good. But yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Lukey, thank you for being here. Now, I'm pretty sure we have an outro. Let's roll that.
Uh-oh. Was that? You back?
Yeah, I'm
Oh no, guys. Quick, get us to 1,000 viewers so we can buy Shippy a new computer.
Oh no, but yes, thank you guys for being here. And hey, it's okay to just play. And anytime that you want to be a streamaholic, you're more than welcome here. We've got your fix. We do. We definitely do have your fix for the Streamaholics content. Thank you for watching.
Thank you,
and
guys.
We'll see you next time.
See you later.